Otis Oliver Flores, aka O.T Genasis, born June 18th, 1987. Today's feature is an artist that represents what it means to have everything fall into place to finally get his shot. He took it and ran with it straight to a viable career in music and being a celebrity, but it didn't last long. You ask an artist what's the scariest thing about their music journey, and most, if not all, would mention the fear of being a one-hit wonder. Before it all started, they may say, all I need is just one hit song, one opportunity. Then they make that song, experience the fruits of the labor it took to make it happen, then never want to go back to a time their lifestyle wasn't what it became and the person they were when nobody cared. But want and desire don't determine longevity. Eventually, talent, skill, consistency, and endless hours put into it are needed to continue reinventing that hit song moment until the fans say, okay, we accept you, and a fan base is built. When I look at an artist like O.T Genasis, I see important elements that make an entertainer, like a personable energy that causes the listener to have to make a decision either way, without an in-between to sit still and wait to make that choice. It's either you like him or you don't. I have to be honest and say I fall on the side opposite of liking O.T Genasis as an artist I ever thought had the potential to be great on paper as a rapper. I say on paper because in today's day and time, there's so many other important elements to making a star where it doesn't only matter if the artist is good. Once they're popular or memeable or controversial, they receive attention, and attention nowadays can be confused heavily with success. You see an artist everywhere online and start to believe he's a bigger artist than he really is. On paper, like Jay-Z famously said, numbers don't lie, and the numbers suggest that although not exactly a one-hit wonder, O.T Genasis didn't quite reach the potential he convinced fans to believe he had back in 2014 when he released a double platinum single, Coco, during the Vine era, just before the troll era, as I like to call it, began, where the worse something was, the more it was passed around the internet and social apps, gaining clout, making it seem as if it was actually something good. I never liked that song and always thought it was a horrible representation of a certain group of people, playing into the stereotypes of that group and completely void of any substance. But like I said, somehow society and fans have gotten to a place where all they want to do is be entertained. Good or bad, as long as it's extremely good or extremely bad, it's going to get attention. O.T Genasis had that, but it never led to an album or a charting hit song since 2015. What happened? Let's talk about it. It's your boy JC, Stunted Growth Music. Let's get it, man. Take a minute to like, subscribe, and comment on who I should do next. O.T Genasis is a rapper born in Atlanta, Georgia, and raised in Long Beach, California, that was inspired by reggae and dancehall as well as hardcore hip-hop. In 2010, his name became more and more known locally behind his song Touchdown, until he caught the eye of 50 Cent, who called him personally about his interest in signing him to a single deal for the song. Genasis later revealed he didn't understand what a single deal was at the time. He just knew he was signed to 50 Cent. The deal expired, and years later he performed the song in LA, and it was so energetic in the building that Busta Rhymes, who was in attendance, grabbed him as he got off stage and offered to meet with him the next day. It led to Busta Rhymes bringing him to Atlantic, where he's signed and given an advance to go make a single and album. Not understanding once more, he blew through the money, and almost a year later, Atlantic threatens to release him because he had nothing to show for the money invested. It's when he took whatever he had left and made the song and video Coco that became an instant Vine, meme, and hit. Stunt number 1, rap/musical talent. Let's start this off by making it clear that I don't hate O.T Genasis. This is solely my opinion on him as an artist, and of course my opinion is not the be-all, end-all, or fact, just my thoughts. With that said, as far as rap or musical talent goes, I don't think O.T Genasis had very much. What he does have is a personality made for entertainment in some way, And what he did have was opportunity and being in the right place and right time for a person like a Busta Rhymes to see him and like him enough to take him to a record label and get him a deal. I think when Busta saw O.T Genasis, he saw an opportunity. Artists like Busta Rhymes can make good money referring artists to labels, signing them first to their own label prior to. So on paper, you have to pay that label for the release of their artist's music. Somewhere in the beginning or early 2010s, as social media began to become more popular and a part of everyday life, all an artist had to do was have a sellable personality and be a good in-person entertainer. That means on stage and in conversation with the people that can offer a deal. Rap talent is not necessary, not 100% at least. Of course, it takes some skill and some practice and development, but in rap you can say anything, any kind of way. Once it receives attention, up the charts it goes due to streaming platforms and other internet platforms that strive to milk attention. Attention is the new currency. Talent took a back seat a long time ago. Take his first hit song, Coco. I can't tell you how much I hated that song, with the overly used Lex Luger style wind up and drop beat popular at the time, with the repetitive 8-word hook and words that feel weird repeating whether you were a drug dealer or addict. But it was patrolled heavily on Vine and social media, equivalent to what a hot TikTok song is today, and eventually they were playing the song everywhere and it became a hit. But as far as the talent to follow that up with a full project, he doesn't have that in my opinion. Stunt number 2, a singles artist. Artists nowadays should be thankful they came up in a time it's not necessary to even release an album. They can survive off singles for an entire career financially with the amount of accountable money they can now generate from it, along with the opportunity to use their social clout to rake in even more, promoting other brands, or simply being active on apps as an influencer. Then there's show money that's also grown over the years, appearances and hostings, making an artist with a hot song seem much bigger than they actually are. No matter how good your singles are, I still believe what solidifies an artist and brings them longevity that lasts even when they're gone is a full body of work called an album. To me, and I think most people out there, even if they aren't consciously aware of it, feel you're not really an artist if you can't produce at least one album. Then over time, depending on how long you're hot, multiple albums to show you can be well-rounded and interesting enough that someone wants to listen to you for 45 minutes to an hour or more in one sitting. Anyone can get lucky and grab attention for 3 minutes, but the ones with the real talent and potential can do that for hours if you let them. O.T Genasis never released a studio album, and at this point, I don't see one ever coming out, now 10 years removed from when he was his hottest. Like I said, nothing's wrong with that, but it takes away from the potential growth when an artist is missing such a huge part of a legacy. There's only so long a hit song can last. He managed to make another charting hit with the song Cut It featuring Young Dolph, again showing his ability to make great hooks and a good song that I liked a lot more than Coco. But even this song I think was done much better when Shy Glizzy remade it. 2 hits under his belt, a few songs that did their thing, and no albums capped O.T Genasis as a singles artist. Stunt number 3. Honestly, there is no third growth stunt for O.T Genasis in my opinion. I understand how he even got on in the first place, as he does have entertainment qualities, evident by TV shows like The Surreal Life on MTV wanting his services, and I can see him being a standout on a Love and Hip Hop or something. But musically, I never thought he had the talent or appeal of a rapper I could ever enjoy. He wasn't quite a one-hit wonder, not quite a star either, but in certain pockets where you need a personality that represents hip-hop, he can be of use as he looks the part and acts it as well. He benefited from coming up in the right time and achieved just about as much as he will musically. Salute, much respect, but for these reasons, his growth was stunted. It's your boy JC, Stunted Growth Music, and I'm out.